Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you,
Hello.
Karen, tonight?
Oh, I'm great actually. I'm really buzzing after 3 days of broth fasting.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
yeah, yeah,
I have to
with
say,
our network
yeah,
challenge, actually, it's been an open challenge to our Food and Frequencies for Holistic Health group too. So it's so you remember when you're doing it, you go, oh, remember how good this feels, but then you don't do it, and then when you actually get back into it, you go, why don't I do this more often? It's
yeah,
so cool. Get more done. Yeah,
yeah,
great. How are you?
absolutely. Yes, yes. And it's easier. Yeah, it's easier than I remember. Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
I'm
Oh,
great. No, I'm also buzzing and I'm feeling quite yeah, very alert. I've been very focused all day.
yeah,
Yeah, and all yesterday. No, I've got a lot of energy actually. It's fantastic. Um, I probably could have eaten tonight, but I've just opted for another broth and we'll go see how we go. Might just have
yeah,
breakfast instead. Yeah.
yeah, because that means you'll have done, oh my gosh, 72, 80, is it 84 hours then? Rather than 72. Am I right with my maths? I don't know.
Are
I don't
you?
really
I'm
count.
not sure.
Maybe not.
Uh, no, I think it's about seven.
So
Don't know.
2 days
But
is 48 hours. Another 24 is 72. And so if you do another 12 hours, then you'll have done 84.
wow, okay. Well, look,
Mm,
we should get on with it because we've
we
got an
should.
awesome
Yeah,
guest waiting in the
we have.
wings,
We
and
have.
I'd love to introduce her. So, I think most people suspect or know who we've got on tonight. So we've got Natalie Cutler-Welsh. She's a
Yeah.
Canadian Kiwi super connector and coach for visibility, vitality, and expansive impact. We've been in her world for about a decade, haven't we, Karen?
We
I think
have.
about a
Yeah.
decade
Blimey.
we've all been connected. She's just an awesome chick. She's a mum of three teens and she's a 3-5 generator in human design, if you know what human design is all about. Um, She's also the founder of upyourbrave.com, where she facilitates the Empowered Connections Networking Club, which I'm sure a lot of you know and are even members of around the country, and also the Collaborations Club for business owners, coaches, healers, and leaders to voice their impact. And both Karen and I are members of that.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
Nat's in her happy place when she's sharing others' wisdom from the world, which she does really well as a host of the Up Your Brave show on Reality Check Radio, where she
Yeah.
focuses on inspiration, motivation, holistic health, spirituality, and more. So, having recorded 500 interviews now as a host and guest, she's co authored 3 books and run live and online events for thousands of women. Natalie is definitely known for her high vibe energy, her enthusiasm, and her action orientated, make things happen kind of approach. Her knowledge of visibility and business, essential oils, and human design, and her obsession with helping people who help people, which we love, will
Mm.
collectively empower you to up your brave, show up as the true you, and voice your impact and do what you were born for. So,
Yeah.
without further ado, we welcome to the stage Natalie Cutler-Welsh.
Hello.
Hi, Natalie. Welcome.
Hello,
How
ladies.
are you,
Please don't
darling?
ask me to do any math. Well, you can ask me
We
anything,
won't.
but not math.
Yeah. Math and I are not good friends, but sometimes I can add up, but sometimes I can't. But obviously, the fasting's working. Yeehaw. So, how are you doing, Natalie?
I'm good. You guys, what did you say that you're vibing or you're amping or something? I'm really chill. And you might notice, well, my hair is blending in and out of my background, but it's quite greasy. I had a facial massage today. So, like, where they're making you look younger, with their facial massage. It's an hour. Anyway, so hence I have very oily hair, but a very relaxed vibe at the moment.
Oh, you didn't
Nice.
use your spray
I
thing.
did. I
You-
put my
you
dry
proper-
shampoo in.
you
Oh, for
did.
sure. But
Great.
I had a lot of oil in my hair.
There's only so much oil that dry shampoo can
Yeah, deal with.
absorb.
My
Yeah,
healthy dry shampoo, not
Absolutely.
not
Yeah.
toxic.
absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. I find now that when I'm wearing a tallow-based moisturizer, all I have to do is, put my fingers through my hair a few times and got the same problem.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, greetings, everyone says. Hello. My Xander's tuning in
Greetings.
from Rock the Boat, where he is literally rocking and rolling right now. Oh, I feel better now. Sorry, but just before I was completely battling with hearing us talking about 10 seconds later because it was open. The live stream was open on one of my tabs somewhere, and it was like, where is it? So we're all good now. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
good. I wondered why you weren't so flowy as you usually are.
Oh, was I not? Yeah, it was because I was getting all that feedback. It was really
Yeah, it's
off-putting.
weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, we're here again tonight and we're winging it as usual, aren't we, Karen? Because we are here to chew the fat with friends, and so that doesn't require scripts and even much of a plan. So what we do want to talk about tonight, I think, is pretty much dealing with, how do we keep our vitality up and deal with the crazy that's going on in the world. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but I'd quite like to talk about that.
Yeah, good. There's some good crazy and happening as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there really
absolutely.
is. Yeah, I agree. And I think, there's an awful lot of negative crazy that a lot of people are tapping into, that's fear-based crazy. But I think, there's so much good going on in the world. I was thinking I should start a newscast saying, well, there's the occasional negative thing going on, but there is millions and millions of people doing amazing good things. And if we could focus on that.
Yeah, they could go 80-20 on that, couldn't they? Instead of doing like 90% negative, it could be 80% positive, 20%. Oh, here are some things you might want to know about as well.
Yeah. If we could do that, just think of how everyone would feel.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you ladies, but I've really backed off on getting too drawn into the nitty-gritty details of all the things that are going on. First of all, because there seems like there's just too much to even keep up with, that it just stresses me out trying. And secondly, it's that 80-20, like you say, Nat. I'd rather spend 80% of my time creating and, being in a positive mindset, and just being aware of the things that I need to be aware of that I can impact and influence, and not let the rest, get to me. Yeah.
It is a fine balance. I mean, I definitely am one to be more like, I want to have my finger on the pulse. I want to know what's going on. And partly that comes from my like superhero complex. I mean, even look at my photo right here on my thingy. Because I am a 3-5 generator, and the 5s, we love to save the day. And so part of that is me going, I just want to know what's going on, so that when people come to me anytime now and say, Nat, like, can you explain to me about this? Or can you help me understand that? I can help them. And so it's my obsession with helping people and my desire to save the day, not necessarily be the hero, but like to help the people. I feel like I want to know what's going on. So partly it's curiosity. Partly I feel like I'm putting all this information in my backpack so that if I need it, I can explain things to people. But honestly, things are taking so long in my mind to happen that I'm just like, I'm almost at that point. I'm not giving up, but I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need to consume so much, like listening, YouTube, Rumble, etc. And more like you said, just living in the moment, enjoying everything I'm up to, and just cherishing, my kids are teenagers. Oh my God, I love the teenage years. My daughter's at uni. Like cool. She's loving it. I'm just trying to be so present with them. While also secretly going, I'm just quickly going to listen to this video by Elizabeth April all about what's coming up in May. So I dabble. I don't think I'm as obsessive as I used to be.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, you have you're lucky because you work with Reality Check Radio, so you must get the brief news, right? You get all the headlines. Boom, boom, boom. Well,
Yeah,
we all
yeah, I
do
do.
with
I
those of us
do.
that are
But
subscribed.
yeah, exactly. So I get to interview people, which is my favorite thing. And like you said in the
Exactly.
intro, like share their wisdom with the world.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
you mentioned, it's hard to keep up. And I don't think it's healthy for us to be like, oh, I need to listen to this and I need to catch up
Mm.
on that, and putting these expectations on ourselves. So one of my
Mm.
keys to being having high vitality is to I ditch the words just, need, and should from my
Oh,
vocabulary,
yeah.
and that really
Yeah.
helps me to be able to just watch what I wanna watch and not feel like I need to do this and I should do that, and I said I would. None of those words. I just wipe them off my vocab, and that kinda helps me
Mm.
to remain positive.
Mm.
But yeah, RCR is awesome, like, the people are amazing. It is. I know
Mm.
we do a lot of content, it's hard to keep up with. We're doing less content now intentionally
Crazy.
because of
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
and I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So are there certain laneways that they're going to stay in, or
Yeah,
how are
well,
they
they,
going to do that?
they talk about the threats. They use the terminology of like we were talking about the
Oh,
threats,
yeah.
like climate change, the transgender agenda,
Mm.
the economy, politics. Whereas I always say that my show is like the antidote. My show
Yeah.
is, like you said in the intro, motivation, inspiration, spirituality,
Mm.
holistic health and
Mm.
well-being. Like I interviewed somebody just on Monday it launched, and it was all about deprogramming from the programming that we all receive and through
Great.
hypnosis, hypnotic practices. And it's like, you're never going to get that on regular radio. And if, it's
Mm.
not a threat, I'm the antidote to the threat. And I think that's really important, that we don't just have the threats, because that's that 80-20 thing we talked about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yep.
much so.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
what got you started in your business, Natalie, of Up Your Brave, and what did you see that you thought people need to do this? What got you into it?
Well, the original business, which is my business company name, is Go To Girl Limited. And that's why in my little intro here it says Super Connector, because my superpower and like really is just people. My superpower is connecting people. And so I started off doing that mainly when we moved to Auckland after the earthquake. So that's back in, 14 years ago, actually. My son is 14 now, so that's how I know. And yeah, so bringing people together, that was really my thing. But in terms of upping your brave, that part came probably 4 or 5 years after I started my business. I started using the term Up Your Brave. I got the website Up Your Brave, and then eventually it became my Reality Check radio show. But of course, it was my business name before that. So basically, I saw a lot of Kiwi women entrepreneurs and the whole tall poppy thing, and people wanting to share their stories and their wisdom, but I don't want people to think I think I'm up myself, or what if I get it wrong? It's that questioning themselves. So they've got the wisdom, they've got the insight, the knowledge. It's just they've got the doubt as well. So it was me, Canadian Kiwi, so genetically Kiwi, but brought up in Canada till I was 23. That was a while ago, 27 years ago. And putting those two things together and going, no, like I'm up here on stage, come up here with me. Or like, I've got a microphone. Let me, are you happy for me to ask you some questions? And I just do what I do, which is shine the light. So shining the light on these women specifically, but I also talk to men now and then. But also I shine the light on people, problems, and possibilities in the world. So that's where I do shine the light on some problems or some topics that no one wants to talk about, because I think it's important to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I also like to shine the light on possibilities. And that's that expansive impact thing you talked about. I wonder what's possible. Like, that's why I'm excited about the future. I am so excited about like New Zealand going forward and the world going forward, and how it's going to be this version of the world, this version of the healthcare system, food, the economy that we've never even imagined. Like, I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about the possibilities. I'm also aware of the problems, but I don't like fixate on them. I don't let them create fear. I let them create empowered action.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's what we're very aware of, all of us, I think, is that the basically keeping the focus on the world we know it can be, And if we keep that focus on there, yeah, we have to say, as you say, Natalie, we have to be aware of what's out in the peripheral vision. But if we keep our focus on what we know, that we know, like we know is coming, then we're bringing it closer and closer and closer. And the more of us that do that, the quicker it'll become, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Totally.
So, yeah, loving this
Absolutely.
conversation.
Thank you, Sarah, for your comment. Yes,
Yeah,
I hope
that's
hope
lovely.
Trevor gets home and can join us as well.
That's really cool. Yeah, great. So, look, Nat, what's been going on in your world lately?
Well, we've got two things going on. We got the usual, which is exciting, which is connecting people, going to the beach. With, that's where I run my networking club at the beach. But I've actually got 7 of them around the country now. So empowering women to do their thing, bringing people together in person. I also, a lot of people might not know this about me. I also work with the elderly. So while I love working with women entrepreneurs, there's 2 other things you might not know about me. I love working with the elderly. So I do have a 2 mornings a week role as community coordinator. Which is just lights my fire, fills my cup. So that's important. As a generator, I need to do it, lights me up. And my son and I do pet sitting, dog sitting in the holidays. And so that's my other secret passion that people might not know about. I love animals, but specifically dogs. And so we have 3 dogs coming this weekend, 2 King Charles Cavaliers and a black lab. So we also have our own dog. Yes. So, I love doing stuff in real life in real time with real people. Do you know what I mean? Even though I do tons of stuff online, I like doing things with real people in real time. That lights my
real connected, and you're such an animal person. That's lovely. I love that. They must keep you busy.
Well, here's the key. I found out not the hard way. We only do it in the holidays, usually school holidays, so that I can have my helpers, because when you've got 3 dogs or 4, you need 2 people to go to the park with you, not just 1. So I don't offer it as a dog. What is it called? Doggy daycare. I don't do that. It's only weekends or holidays.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Fun. Yeah. And it's a bit like having grandchildren, I would say. Not that I've got grandchildren, but it's basically you can spoil them.
Yeah.
And then you can just hand them back.
Yeah, exactly.
I send them videos and photos of their dogs. They love it. I'm give them little updates.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so Nat, let's talk what do you do to keep your vibe high? Because we all have those days when things get to us and get us down, and sometimes consistently, try to beat us down. What are some of the tools that you use to keep your vibration high?
Well, one of them would be saying yes to self-care opportunities. So my friend who said, "Can we practice? We're just about to bring this into our clinic. Can we practice on your face?" And I was like, "Yes, that is fine." So I said yes to that, right? And obviously I have to schedule it in, and I have to make, amidst all the other things I'm doing, but it's actually a priority to me. Do I want to feel pampered and cherished and taken care of? Yes, please. Because I'm such a warrior, not a worrier. I'm such a warrior with my bow and arrow, right? I'm such a a trailblazer and all those things. But sometimes us trailblazers, we want to go on the massage table. We want to be taken care of. So I actually did have a couples massage with my daughter when she was home from uni. It was incredible at We Bliss You. So shout out to We Bliss You. I do hot yoga, as you ladies know, hot yoga and fitness classes 5-6 times a week. So I'm super strong now, small but strong. And so it's not just yoga, it's fitness with weights. And so as a woman, I'm 51. I know we're supposed to be strong. We need to use weights and maintain our bone strength. So I'm doing great at that. And I love all the people there, and I love the vibe and culture. It's never oh, I signed up, I don't want to go. It's ooh, I've got yoga at 8:15 today. I love going, and I make it a priority. I fit it into my schedule. I always say to people, do fitness that you're excited about. Don't join a gym and then feel guilty, or don't say that you're going to do something just only what lights you up. That's just the key for most. That's the key for 70% of the population in terms of human design, because they're generators or manifesting generators. It's not actually the advice for everyone. So if you're a projector, that's not your guidance. But for most people, that is your guidance. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. The other thing I'm super big on, and I know you ladies will agree, is express, don't suppress. So if we suppress our emotions, right, they end up causing toxicity and disease in our body. So I'm very big on expressing. Now, I'm obviously a talker, but some people aren't, and that's fine. You can express through writing. You can play music and sing along or cry along to Adele, whatever. You can write out some things and burn them, or send them off into the water. So just releasing and expressing, or chit chat to your friends, whatever works for you. So that is what I do. I talk, obviously I talk to, confide in certain people in my life. Most people who know me know that COVID was a challenge in many ways for lots of people in many ways. But for me, it was all relationship. It was, the significant men in my life, husband and father. And it continues to be an ongoing challenge. And so that is why my vitality is so important. And so I love the work I do, and everything's rosy over there, but over here it's tricky. And so everyone's got their own thing to navigate, and for me that's what it is. And so maintaining my vitality is critical. And of course, little plug for my essential oils, I've got Citrus Bliss here. I do actually use my essential oils, which is my business as well, but every day, multiple times a day, because I know that they help me aromatically, or my muscles after my yoga class. So just taking care of myself in many different ways, and that's how I remain so energetic and positive amidst the turbulent, exciting times that we're in right now.
Yeah. So the essential oils are an essential part of you, aren't they?
Yeah. They are.
And they are meant to be used regularly. They're not like just popping a pill.
No.
It's little and often, isn't it? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the essential oils.
And the right thing for the right, the right reach for the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you ladies? What do you do for vitality?
Oh, well, today I'm going to say this fasting thing's good. It's been a great reminder for what it does for my energy levels, actually. Yeah. So, detoxing and fasting from time to time. I have to admit, I could do better with fitting in more self-care. But then again, a lot of my lifestyle is pretty free. I live on the water most of the time, so
that's got to be good for your vitality.
Yeah, it's great. I'm very connected to nature, and and all the elements. So the water and the air, the breeze, I love that. So, and we move around a bit, and there's a lot of variety in my life. So I guess I've got that. That's where I get a lot of it from. Another one for me is singing. I do love singing. It's a real outlet. So when you were talking about expressing and getting things out, for me, singing is a big one. And that I really feel that joy, the tingling on the crown and stuff like that when I'm, in the height of really expressing through song. So that's a big one for me. Again, I maybe don't do it as much as I ought to, but I'm not going to say should, and
no shoulds.
and all of
There
that.
shouldn't be shoulds.
No beating myself up about it. But it's interesting because since I've been back at Wellington, I've been to a concert and I've been to a jam, and I just got straight up there and got involved with the musicians and used my voice as an instrument. And it was lovely to be there and going, oh yeah, that's right, I love this. And it's so good to be back in Wellington. Wellingtonians we've got a great music scene here.
So from that, I'd say to anyone listening, say yes to vitality opportunities. Like when my friend said, do you want to be the model for the facial massage? I said yes. When Deb goes to Wellington and there's these opportunities, and they were probably like, do you want to come up on stage with us? And she's like, yes, I do. Say yes to vitality opportunities. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I take my dogs for a walk in the morning. That's my self-care, but that's not a walk per se. It's a drag. So we've got two French bulldogs, and they like to go in opposite directions. So I get my stretching with that. But then when I come home, I take myself off for a walk. Yeah, I take myself off for a walk, and I either go into the bush or I do a beach walk, and that really fills me up. I
Nice.
love being in nature. It's my jam. I've always connected with the trees and plants and stuff, and so I just get really, and if I feel like it, I'll just sit with the trees and talk with them, and so that is my self-care. I could probably do other things, but that is what I really, really enjoy. And I do play the frequencies a lot for myself. And I don't tend to go out and get pampered a lot, but I'll change that soon once I've got some projects done. So yeah, I've got some projects that I'm working on. So
You do. You do. No, I love
do.
getting out in the bush too. I do love the New Zealand bush. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love walking. Oh, very good. Yeah, Xander just mentioned before, expressing yourself, the way you need to is good, but also to learn how others need to express, and those differences can be huge. I wonder who he's thinking about when he's saying that, because we've got a very expressive son who's, very sensitive and has a huge heart and feels intensely. So things rise up in him really quickly. And while sometimes someone else expressing their emotions can seem, frustrating and, especially if there's other things going on and it's just not good timing kind of thing, but you've got to be there to let them bring it out for as long as they can and help them transmute it, so we spend quite a lot of our time really trying to educate Morgan on how he has control over how long he intensely feels feelings.
Well, let's have a look at his human design, and then we can talk, because he might be an
that's
emotional.
A very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he will. He definitely will be.
Yeah. Because there's some good guidance that'll help you to help him. Yeah. Just message me.
Point. Yeah, I will. Okay, very cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. No. So we don't suppress others' expression. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Vital. Yeah. Okay, so now Natalie is going to be sharing her wisdom with us in the network in a workshop next week.
Yes.
And so I would love, Natalie, for you to share with all the people watching this live and also the recording is what you're going to be sharing with us, because this is going to be so exciting.
Well, it's a great aligned topic with what we're discussing tonight. We're talking about vitality. And we're next week when we do the session, we'll be talking about raising your frequency, which obviously you guys are food and frequencies. I thought raising your frequency is the perfect topic. And Karen, you came up with a great name, which I think was Sense and Soul. So SCENTS, Sense and Soul. I'm going to be talking about 6 specific essential oils in order. And I'm going to tell you about the hertz, like the frequency of each one, and how you could use them. I imagine a lot of people have probably at least 2 of them, because 2 of them are really common. I'm going to give you a tip. It's peppermint and lavender. Very common. Most people have heard of those. So, and then a few of the other ones, rose, helichrysum, frankincense. There's a few more. I'm going to leave you hanging. Those ones are a bit more rare and a bit more expensive, but the peppermint and lavender, I'm sure everyone has heard of those. So it's going to be an exciting session. I love Q&A. So if anyone has any questions during the session or before the session, they can ask those. So it'll be super fun.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh, helichrysum. I'm looking forward to that one, because I got that and I added some of that to my moisturizer the other night. And I said, I'm pretty sure this is good for the skin.
It is. It's also known as invisible stitches. It helps to coagulate the blood. It's amazing. It's great for your first aid kit as well. By the way, for the preppers in the audience, it's a great one for your first aid kit. Yeah.
Fantastic anti-inflammatory, isn't it?
So good.
It really is a good, not a very well known essential oil either. So
and hard to spell.
Yeah. I'm not going to try. My dyslexic self will not try. No.
So because a lot of people don't realize that essential oils especially when you inhale them, they break through the blood-brain barrier, don't they, Nat? And so they can affect your mood and emotions quite dramatically and quite quickly.
That's right. And you also
So,
put them on the back of your neck as well to get them in. I think it's
Yeah.
really important, especially in these times. You know, a lot of people are like, you need to have this many gallons of water, liters of water set aside, and food, you know, the whole be prepared for anything thing. And I think having your own in your pantry or in your cupboard, having your own remedies, right? And I know you guys talk about lots of different remedies. I have a whole cupboard full of all sorts of things. So I have way more than essential oils, but having a few essential oils, if someone has a tummy bug, boom, I've got it. Someone's sore throat, they're going downhill, boom, I've got it. It's someone's got a cut or a scrape and it's getting infected, boom. Like you've got, I think it's a really important time to be sovereign about your, you know, home healthcare and medical, you know, med kit and making like a medical kit, but also a meditation kit, you know, having things to help the emotions as well as the body. So good.
Yeah, the emotions as well as the body, absolutely. Because I got introduced to essential oils through Claire Deeks and yourself. So, you know, they've definitely been a part of my world and they're a big part of my toolkit. You know, Karen's is obviously far more vast than that, and I'm certainly learning more. But the essential oils are still a real go-to for me. And you know, the flu bomb especially that I make up, you know, with the On Guard and the oregano and the frankincense and the tea tree and that and the lemon. That when I apply that on my glands and stuff and throat, if I feel like I'm got a bit of a throat thing, you know, coming on, a cold or a flu coming on, I nail that in the first 24 hours and it never eventuates. And
Amazing.
it just never ceases to blow me away. And so I use it with my family and we are very, very seldom get sick. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
You know, if you can stave it off at the beginning, that's the best part. Yeah.
It's amazing what we can use from our kitchen as well.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, Natalie, if you can have just a few things, so like your essential oils, and let's face it, they don't go off. So they're not like food, they're not gonna go off. If you can make them last that long, you know, they can be in your cupboard. But the great thing about food as well is people don't realize that they've got emergency kits there, you know, and I think we need to all learn as much as we possibly can, because you just don't know when the power's going to go off, like it has in Europe. You know, they've had power cuts over in Europe, like major ones.
Yeah, and we've been told that that's going to happen as well. We've been told, some of the things I've been listening to say that, you know, that's probably going to happen in America, and it'll be rolling, so it's not like one and done. It'll come and go. And some people might call it 5 days of darkness, 10 days of darkness, whatever. The point is, be prepared. And I always say, be prepared, but not paranoid, right? It's very important.
Yeah.
Is it that, or is it connected to, you know, this increasing use of AI and the massive drain on resources, power resources to fuel these data centers?
It could be a number of things.
Yeah.
There can be so many things. It could be the green agenda of, you know, these power stations can't keep up with the firing up of the electric vehicles, or that the new energy systems aren't keeping up with need. And there's so much, isn't there? Really, so much it could be. But the thing is that empowering yourself to have these things at your fingertips and know that they work, because they do.
And raising your frequency, like maintaining a high vibe even during crazy turbulent times. And we're going to discuss a few other things other than oils as well when we do this session as well.
That'd be such fun. It'd be so good. So looking forward to that. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay. And how's your vibe been this last week or so? Because like Karen said when we were opening, the energies have been crazy. There's been a lot going on. So how have you been, Nat, in the last sort of week to 10 days?
Well, it's interesting, and I'd love to hear from some of your audience members, because I find that some people are more sensitive than others, like more obviously sensitive than others. Like I had a friend, and we used to go to the EES room, like a frequency healing room that they have here in
Oh,
Auckland. And she
yeah,
would say,
great.
"Hey, Nat, can you drive? Because there's no way I can drive after that session." You know, so she was just
Wow.
way more sensitive. She is a projector in human design, by the way, which is interesting. But I would say I am probably not as sensitive. And so that's why I feel like some people, if they watch certain videos, like it really affects their psyche and their mental health and well-being. You know, some people can take more than others in terms of information and consumption. That's why you really need to stick to your own, like what feels good to you. What feels like too much to you, don't watch that, you know, turn it off. You don't need it. And same thing with the energies in the world. I find that some people are so affected and other people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I would say I would be along the lines of not as affected, but of course things will still affect my body. I'm just not feeling it to the same degree or in the same way.
Yeah.
So I guess we all respond differently.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're surrounded by a lot of people. Like a lot of the people in your world are quite sensitive, aren't they? They are the healers and the people in the wellness industry and well-being industry. So, do you find when you're talking with them and they're sharing their experiences that you kind of take that on board as truth?
Not really. I mean, and the main thing is most of the bulk of the people I hang out with are very much like you ladies, like so we can say what we think, we can say we don't have to edit our thoughts or worry about being PC. So because I live in that world where I can very much be myself most of the time, not so much with other certain people. It's a little more awkward, but that helps me to, I guess, be more in alignment and high frequency. But no, I don't feel like I take on other people's energies and stuff, but I know what you mean, because for a lot of people, my daughter, for example, very sensitive, right? So I've been nurturing her and teaching her to really decipher, you know, is that yours or is it actually you're picking up on somebody else's energy? And she's so empathetic. You know, I'm empathetic, but I would be more like of a trailblazer and resilient than I am empathetic. So I think we're all here to serve different roles, and every role is just as vital as the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I used to be incredibly empathetic, and I had to learn techniques and choose what I took on board. And because otherwise, you know, it was just draining my battery. You know, literally I was at work, you know, because when we were working with incurable diseases, I just was flat after every day. And I used to do all I could, because we lived on a canal in the UK at the time. So I used to do all I could to really top myself up. But I had to do all sorts of sort of meditation techniques and various other techniques in nature to just get my energy back. And then I learned how to protect myself before I went to work rather than after it, you know, dealing with the flat battery. So it's a bit like, you know, you have a flat battery of a car. It gradually will just keep on draining and draining and draining until it dies completely. And so I learned to top it up by running, doing things in nature. Like I said, you know, going out in nature really helps top me up. So that's how.
You just reminded me, Karen, from the Lee Harris event, a whole bunch of us, there was like 800 people there a few weeks ago at the Lee Harris event. And he also sings, and he has this mantra of sorts, which is like, I release all the energies and emotions that are not mine. And it repeats and it repeats. And maybe in the session next week, I can start with that song or something like that. I mean, the real version, not my version. But I think it's so important. Like, I release all the energies and emotions that are not mine. It's almost something you could say when you're going into a meeting at work, or you've just come from a discussion with someone and it's feeling horrible. And you can even, you know, brush some things off if you want to, but I release all the energies and emotions that are not mine. You can do it like this. I think that's a really powerful mantra that hopefully we can all use if we need some sort of tool to go to for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very valuable.
That sounds great.
Gosh, this is going to be fun.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it very much.
Me too.
Great. So,
Okay.
Nat, I'm just gonna people can find you here at upyourbrave.com, can't they? So that includes, if there's an EC club in their area, they can go check that. Like, what are the? You said you're in 7 areas now around New Zealand.
Well, they're very Auckland centric, I have to say.
Oh,
We
very
have
Auckland.
7
Okay,
clubs, including one online. All of them are in Auckland except for the Raglan Club at the moment. But by the way,
Go
if anyone's
Raglan!
go Raglan. If anyone is curious, I'm always open. I'm not really looking, but if anyone's open to leading a club or initiating a club in their area, wherever they live in New Zealand, that is something I mentor people to do, which is like a little bit of side income for them, which is really cool, bringing people together and just facilitating a power hour of networking every 2 weeks. And one of my ladies, she's just celebrating her 1-year birthday. So for 1 year next week, they've been going for 1 year, their club. My club's been going since COVID because it started out of COVID when we weren't allowed into the into the cafes and all that stuff. Yep. So that's when it launched a couple, obviously since then, but she's been going for a year. So that's networking club. It is for people who have a business or want to create a business. But you know what? It's always fun for anyone, and lots of friendships and amazing, genuine connections come out of it as well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, cool. So can you tell us a little bit about what one of those sessions would involve? Like, what do the people do generally? Just to give people an idea, if there are some listeners going, oh, I might want to be.
Okay, well, today we hosted the online one, which is Wednesdays at 12 fortnightly. And so it's always a power hour. I usually start, and we do 2 rounds round the rooms, or if you're sitting at a coffee group at a table, you go around the table, and we have different topics. And it's a little different than usual networking. We're just more heart-centered, more grounded, I would say, more aligned, and not like cheesy, salesy, sparkly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So one of the questions I asked them today was, what do you wish people would see? So it was about visibility. What do you wish people would see about your business? Whether that's, I wish they would see my testimonials page because I've worked with so many amazing clients, or I wish they would see that although I'm also strong, I also really am really fragile as well. So it can be a personal response, or it can be more of I wish they would see my webinar that I recorded last week. So they can kind of take it in whatever direction they want. That was really great. What do you wish people would see about your business? Cool. And then after that, we did a question that I got from Outward Bound, where I used to be a rock climbing, kayaking, sailing instructor back in my 20s. And we used to debrief, and we would say, it's called Keep, Stop, Start. What are you going to keep doing now that we're going into May? What are you going to keep doing in your business because it's working well? What are you going to stop doing because it's not working for you? It's a habit, a duty, an obligation. Maybe it's an offering that's no longer aligned. And what are you going to start doing? Something that you've got an idea for and you just haven't started it. And so we got them to go. Actually, this was in breakout rooms. What are you going to keep, stop, and start doing in your business? And that was round 2. So we change it up every time. It's different. And sometimes at the end, we'll do a little bit of rapid fire coaching. If someone has a burning question, they want some feedback from the group. And sometimes we'll get one person in the group to do a 10-minute demo. So instead of telling us about their business, they're showing us. And last week at my beach club one, Lisa, she's from EFT Serenity. She did like a tapping session, you know what I mean? And we all sat on the beach doing this tapping. And so we got to see what she does, not just hear about what she does.
Great.
We got to feel it, and it was amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist. But everyone leaves feeling elevated and higher frequency.
That sounds great. Awesome.
Sounds really good.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening and is like-minded, is a bit of a connector like Nat, and has their own business in your area and would like to, move away from maybe the more traditional networking groups and do something a bit more, heart-centered and grounded, then Nat's your girl. Just reach out, get in touch with her. That's fantastic. And we can definitely attest to, we do the same things with the Collaborations Club and online, and Karen and I love being members of that.
It's great fun.
Yeah,
amazing people,
great friends in there.
Yeah,
fantastic connections in there. Yay! So next week we'll have you in and doing the workshop. Really looking forward to, what was it, Scent and Soul?
Mhm.
Scent and Soul. And yeah, look, if you're not already a member with us, this is where you go to join us, foodandfrequencies.net. And also, you know, as Karen and I mentioned, we're in week four of the 6-month Turn Back the Clock challenge. So it is not too late if you want to come and join us. We've only just got going, but I have to say, some of the members we've had some great drops, haven't we, already, Karen? I mean, just in the last 3 days, I think I've lost 2.5 kgs. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's been sort of people who have dropped 5-6 kgs, you know, and they're amazed at how quickly it's working. And so, yeah, so that's what, it's not just weight, of course. It's all about letting go of negative, whether it's energy, whether it's niggles in the body, or whether it's spirituality or whatever. It's all about becoming the best versions of ourselves. I think that's what I think the Turn Back the Clock challenge is. And yeah, turning back the clock internally, and we hope it's going to turn back the clock externally too. And so that's how we're working. Yeah.
I know it's not only about weight, but do you have them take a photo beforehand? Because energetically, the photo, not just weight, but they can just change how they show up in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We've got them to do quite a few different things. So like photos before, and also if they're looking at weight, measurements, and it's not just weight for measurements, is it? It's actually because, you know, even if you're not overweight and you've been doing exercise like you have, Natalie, it's, you know, changing your shape is really empowering, because if you feel strong and you're feeling so good in your own skin, isn't that a gift to yourself? I think, you know,
that's mobility. I'm very big on gratitude and mobility, and that's what I find is like just being able to move more easily if you're not as stiff, or you don't have extra rolls and things like that. It's like quite different. You feel like a different person.
Very different. And we're very, very lucky with our members who are doing workshops and things. So the last few workshops have been about mobility, and today in just over 10 minutes, we've got our workshop this evening on the network with Chantel, who's going to take us through Qigong.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Who you possibly met in my collaborations club, possibly.
We definitely did.
Of course, Nat. Yeah,
that's awesome.
We did. So we're really looking forward to that. So
you ladies are doing an amazing job. You've got I think you had something last night, and now you've got this thing with Chantel. So kudos to you for growing such an incredible community, and on a topic that obviously is resonating for people, like food and frequencies. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's part of prepping too, isn't it, Natalie? Becoming strong.
Totally. It's all
becoming strong and resilient in our physical body, you know.
Yep.
And taking ownership for how you show up, like your frequency and your energy and your language.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Not being victims, hey. Being lions. Right. Excellent. And on that note, I'm going to go finish my broth, get hydrated, and get ready for Qigong. So thank you so much, Nat. It's been great catching up with you tonight, and really looking forward to the workshop next week.
Awesome. I'll see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nat.
Have a fantastic week. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.